Hey guys, how's it hanging? Charlie here, your coach of the São Paulo Cyndaquils for the IBL, coming to you guys with the team building for our week 6 of the IBL against the London City Arcanines. So his team is pretty scary. It is very bulky, I would say, and very offensive at the same time. And his team is consistent of Dragonite, which is pretty scary with its multi-scale, having Ice Beam, D-Dance, EQ, and priority on extreme speed, and without mentioning the access it has to the elemental punches. So that's something we have to scout out for, because Ice Punch might do a lot to your team. You guys know our ice weakness. So then he has Blissey, which is just a freaking wall with 225 HP. It has recovery. It is a very good utility mon with Wish, Protect, Soft Boiled, Heal Bell. It can Toxic, it can set up the rocks, and it can Seismic Toss, but Seismic Toss already does the same amount, like always. It does 50 HP if I'm not mistaken. Then he has Empoleon, which can set rocks as well, and it is one of his defoggers. It can Scald Burn us, it can Ice Beam us, which, yeah, hurts. It can have Roar, which is kind of scary if we bring a setup mon like Hunchcrow with Moxie. It can Flash Cannon, which might hurt our Gardevoir a lot. It can Grass Knot or Vaporeon. Then he has Crobat, which has his U-turn initiative. It has Brave Bird to do a lot of damage, and it is also his defogger. He has Ditto, which is just low. He can have any other mons if he really wants to. Then he has Golem, which first things first can explode, okay? It can fucking explode on our face. It can set rocks as well. It's his third mon already that can set rocks on us. It can EQ, it can Stone Edge, that hurts lots of flying types on our team. It can Toxic, it can have Sucker Punch priority, and it has very high attack and defense stats. Then he has his Mega Aggron. And what is that defense, man? Seriously, like 245? I'm not sure, I'm just saying it like out of my head. It can set rocks as well. It is the fourth mon that can set rocks on his team, and that's really scary because our team's pretty frail to rocks. It can Toxic, it can T-Wave, it can Heavy Slam, can EQ, it can Ice Beam, which is scary always. It can Dark Pulse, Dragon Claw and Dragon Tail if he wants to like drag something out. Other things that it can have, but I don't think it will pack, it's like Solar Beam maybe to hit our Vaporeon. It can set Rock Polishes up, and it can Thunderbolt and Thunder Punch, but then again I don't predict that coming because he has his Rotom Hit, which is the next one I'm gonna talk about. It is a very good utility mon, very bulky. It is his Volt Switching initiative, so he has U-turn Volt Switch with Crobat and Rotom. It can Pain Split, it can Overhit, it can Trick, which is very scary, we have to look out for that. It can HP Ice, it is a very common HP to see on this mon. And it can Thunderbolt as well, but I'm pretty sure he's dropping the amount of damage Thunderbolt would do for the Volt Switching initiative on this Rotom. Then he has Gengar, which is a fast offensive trap. It can Focus Blast, it can Sludge Bomb, it can Hypnosis, so he has a way to put our Pokemon to sleep. That's something to be looking out for. It can also hex, it can debond, it can taunt, it can shadow ball. Mostly because it's so offensive, it is something to look out for. Then he has his Chestnut, which is just a physically bulky offensive trap with spiky shield, synthesis, spikes, and wood hammer, most likely. It can also have Drain Punch and Leech Seed, but I don't quite predict that, looking at what Leech Seed and Drain Punch would do to our team. And then finally, his Huntail, which can Shell Smash, so that's pretty scary. It can Ice Beam, that hurts our team as always. It can have Priority Sucker Punch, it can go for Waterfall Flinches as well, and it has Confuse Ray, so that's something to look out for. Seeing his team now, let's go through all of our mons and why we brought all of them. So first things first, let's start off with our first pick, which is gonna be our Weezing. So yeah, Lumpy is back again, this time with the Black Sludge as always. He is packing the Flamethrower, Pain Split for some kind of reliable recovery, not sure about that. Then Will-O-Wisp to burn his offensive traps, and Toxic because we might need that toxic residual damage that we can get with him. And he's a bold nature, he's 252 defense, 252 HP and 4 special defense. So Willow takes care of most of his physically offensive traps, such as Dragonite, Crobat and his Mega Aggron, and Toxic's there to basically hinder down the longevity of his Chestnut, which is bulky as fuck, and his Rotom Heat. Then Flamethrower is there for his Chestnut and Mega Aggron, of course, which Weezing is designated to be their hard counter. And Pain Split is our reliable recovery besides our Black Sludge, which just heals just about a little bit. Then we have Moonlight, our Thunderous, rocking the Choice Scarf with Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, HP Ice and Knockoff. And his spread is 252 special attack, 252 speed and 4 HP, and he's a rash nature. So Choice Scarf Thunderous is a check specifically designated for Crobat, as it can outspeed and one-shot it, but it can also hinder a good amount of his switch-ins. Now, as we're not bringing a Defogger this time because our Gliscor is Toxic Heal, and when he's Toxic Heal it can't have Defog, unfortunately. It's really important for us to keep his Resort setting Pokemon off the field, like really. And Modest Thunderous does a pretty good job, as it can also one-shot Chestnut with his Air Cutter. The Choice Scarf allows Thunderous to outspeed Gengar and one-hit KO with Thunderbolt after Stealth Rock's damage, that's important to notice. And it can also do the same to Dragonite with HP Ice, but we gotta break its Marvel Scale first, cause Weakness Policy Dragonite could be very, very dangerous. So as we talked about our Defogger not having Defog this time, let's talk about our Gliscor, which is Constantine. So he's rocking the Toxic Heal and he packs Roost, Earthquake, Swords Dance and Knockoff, and his spread is 252 special defense, 252 HP and 4 attack, and he is a careful nature. So as a specially defensive wall, our Gliscor can switch in kinda reliably into Rotom, Heat and Gengar, bearing any ice type moves or HPs he has. And it serves also as our second electric immunity, our first being in Moonlight, our Thunderous, and it is our main pivot for this game, and it can also eat up some hits from Mega Aggron and Chestnut, also Blissey too, while creating with this some opportunities for us to knock off some items and maybe set up a Swords Dance to apply pressure, maybe. EQ is there for our go-to move late game if Gliscor gets to get his setup. And then we have our Cephalothorax, our Vaporeon, with its most basic set as it has always been, with leftovers, rocking the Scald, the Ice Beam, Baton Pass and Wish. His spread is 252 defense, 252 HP and 4 special attack with a bold nature. And Cephalothorax is our secondary physical wall, and it's there to wall things like Golem, Dragonite, Huntail, and it can easily force them out. We can also eat up one of anything that Crobat wants to throw at us and fire off a Scald and maybe burn him in return so that his Brave Birds wouldn't do quite as much. And Wish is there for longevity, of course, as we chose to bring Baton Pass over Roar, because realistically the only Pokemon that can set up dangerously on us is Huntail, and I don't really think he'll bring it to this match, so the ability to get slow initiative with Baton Pass and maybe passing a Wish up to another mon in our squad seems like a really good idea over the Roar. And then we have our Waffles, our Entei, and our Entei is our pretty standard Entei as we brought all weeks, with Sacred Fire, Stone Edge, Flare Blitz and Extreme Speed. He's rocking the Choice Band and an Adamant Nature with 252 attack, 252 speed and 4 HP. And his Adamant Choice Band because he's one of the most powerful wall breakers in our team, and his job is simply to stop Blissey from walling us for days, because that's what Blissey is probably going to do with us. And Sacred Fire is a guaranteed kill, and the 50% chance of burn can come in clutch if he decides to switch out. We have basically a half chance on getting a burn on anything on his team, which is quite cool. If it's not for hindering its physically offensive threats, to at least get the chip of damage off. And Stone Edge can deal massive amounts of damage to Dragonite and one-shot Crobat after a Brave Bird. And our Extreme Speed is here just in case Entei needs to pick up a revenge kill on any problematic mons on his team, basically, to be honest. So moving on to our last choice for this week, it's gonna be our Salamence. Yeah, Toothless is coming this time after such a long time not showing up. And this time he's rocking that Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, Dragon Claw, Air Slash set. And he's rocking also a Life Orb and a Hasty Nature. So Salamence is an offensive switch-in for Chestnut, as it can intimidate and one-hit KO most variants of Chestnut with its Air Cutter. And it can also dish tremendous damage to Rotom Hit and Huntail, while still able to outspeed his Dragonite, which is pretty scary. So dropping a Draco or a Dragon Claw on Dragonite would be really clutch. And its main purpose is to hinder down as much as possible his defensive Pokemon, and if everything goes right, drop a few Dracos along our way, and Choice Scarf Thunderous can then come and clean up if necessary. So that's gonna be it for this week's team building, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please hit a like and subscribe to our channel for more IBL and Pokemon content, and we'll see you guys on our actual match against Sky Trainer Silver, the coach of the London City Arcanines. So see you guys there. Bye!